Most women never realize this, that men are not drawn to what you say. They are drawn to what happens inside their mind when you speak. Two women can say the exact same sentence. One is forgotten. The other is remembered for years. And the difference has nothing to do with beauty, youth, or luck. It's not romance. It's not flirting. And it's definitely not about being nice. It's about how your words change a man's internal state. Before we go any further, I need to be clear. What you're about to learn can create deep emotional attraction. It can also cause men to feel bonded without understanding why. How you use this information is your responsibility. Here's the first truth most women are never told. Attraction is not logical. It is linguistic. Men don't fall because of looks, attention, or availability. Those things help, but they don't create emotional pull. Men become drawn when their internal experience shifts around you. When talking to you feels lighter, more focused, more meaningful, and slightly destabilizing in a way they can't explain. This shift happens almost entirely through language patterns. Not what you talk about, but how you talk. This is the difference between a woman men like and a woman men feel drawn toward. A likable woman is pleasant. A magnetic woman changes how a man experiences himself while speaking. She doesn't just respond. She activates something. To understand this, you need to understand how men process conversation. When men talk, subconsciously they are scanning three things. First, status feedback. Do I feel competent here? Second, emotional safety. Can I speak without being corrected or judged? Third, emotional relevance. Does what I'm saying matter to her? Most conversations fail at least one of these. Ordinary communication shuts these channels down. Magnetic communication keeps them open. And this is where attraction begins. This is something we talk about deeply on Pure Her, because once you understand it, you stop trying to impress and start positioning yourself differently in every interaction. Here's the mechanism most women miss. Emotional elevation. Human interaction has a baseline. Tone, pace, energy, presence. Most conversations stay flat. But sometimes, something causes a lift. He leans forward. He talks longer. He explains more. He repeats himself. He becomes more animated. This isn't random. It happens when a woman's communication touches psychological openness. And most of the time, she doesn't even realize she's doing it. Men are not drawn to women who perform. They're drawn to women who position themselves. This is where many women go wrong. They try to be interesting, entertaining, agreeable, pleasant. That creates attention, not attachment. Men are drawn to speak in a way that allows men to feel heard without being approved, competent without being praised, interesting without being admired. These are not the same things. Let's start with indirect validation. Most women think men want compliments. They don't. Direct praise fades quickly. You're smart. You're impressive. 5 seconds later, it's gone. But indirect acknowledgement works differently. That's an interesting way to look at it. Most people wouldn't think about it like that. You didn't praise him. You positioned his thinking as distinct. His brain registers this as, I stand out here. That feeling lasts. Why? Because direct compliments are processed consciously. Indirect validation is processed emotionally. Men forget compliments. They remember how understood they felt. Now let's talk about emotional permission. Most men filter themselves constantly. They soften opinions. They shorten explanations. They avoid taking up space. Most conversations reinforce this filter. A woman men are drawn to does the opposite. She creates permission. Go on. Where did that come from? That's actually interesting. No interruption. No correction. No judgment. This feels small until you realize how rare it is. When a man feels safe speaking, his nervous system relaxes, and his brain attaches that sense of ease to you. Not consciously, automatically. He doesn't think, she did something special. He thinks, I like talking to her. And then, I miss talking to her. Now we move into the layer that deepens attraction. Controlled absence. Men are drawn to don't rush to respond. They don't immediately fill space with reassurance or excitement. They use pauses, silence, delayed responses, not awkward silence, intentional silence. When a man finishes speaking and you pause, his brain fills the gap. Did that land? What is she thinking? Was that enough? This uncertainty creates engagement. This is not playing games. It's understanding how meaning forms. Used naturally, it deepens connection. Used excessively, it creates imbalance. The line matters. Next is understatement. Most women overreact. They praise too fast. They laugh too loudly. They show excitement too quickly. Men interpret this as predictability. Men are drawn to do the opposite. They understate. Instead of, that's amazing, they say, that's actually solid. Instead of, you're really good at that, they say, you've clearly thought this through. This works because understatement creates contrast. When your reaction is slightly smaller than expected, his attention sharpens. He wonders, what would impress her? What moves her emotionally? You didn't reject him. You didn't reward him. You left space. And space invites pursuit. Now emotional mirroring. Most women repeat what a man says. That feels supportive, but flat. Men are drawn to women who mirror emotion, not content. If he says, work has been exhausting lately, don't say, yeah, work is stressful. Say, sounds like you've been carrying a lot without stopping. You translated his internal state, not his words. This hits deeper than compliments. Because it says, she understands how this feels. Men are rarely emotionally interpreted without being analyzed or fixed. When you do it calmly, without urgency, without advice, you become emotionally safe and emotionally significant. That combination is powerful. Now we reach the final layer. Emotional stability. Men are drawn to don't over-explain. They don't justify every feeling. They don't rush to clarify themselves. If you say, I don't see it that way, and he asks why, you don't defend. You pause and say, it just doesn't land the same for me, and you stop. This signals inner stability, and stability is attractive. Over-explaining signals a need for approval. Under-explaining signals confidence. Men are drawn to women who feel emotionally complete, not emotionally eager. And finally, emotional scarcity. Men are drawn to don't emotionally finish every conversation. They don't resolve every tension. They don't close every loop. They leave things slightly open. We'll talk about that later. That's a longer story. Remind me to tell you about that sometime. This creates emotional carryover. When emotional resolution is delayed, the brain replays, anticipates, attaches meaning. And because you are the source of that open loop, his attention keeps returning to you. One final truth. Men are not drawn to women who talk the most. They are drawn to women who change the atmosphere of conversation. Women who make interactions feel lighter, more open, more focused, more meaningful. Not through effort, through structure. If this video shifted how you see attraction, like the video, subscribe, and stay with us here on Pure Her. This is how connection deepens. And this is where we continue the conversation.